Tonight, an administrative duty that's burning out Canadian physicians. Complaints about hospital security from not enough to too aggressive. And one man's goal to prevent another tragedy at a rail crossing.
Live from our studios in Regina, this is CTV News.
Good evening. There is a lot of issues that have doctors frustrated with healthcare in Canada right now, and one of them is administrative tasks. The Canadian Federation of Independent Business says that physicians are losing millions of hours each year to paperwork. Jacob Carr has the details about how this is impacting doctors in Saskatchewan and what could be done to fix it.
20 million hours. That's how much the Canadian Federation of Independent Business says Canadian doctors lose each year to red tape. And their latest report, in collaboration with the Canadian Medical Association, found that physicians in Alberta, Ontario, and Saskatchewan reported the highest number of hours spent on administrative work per week.
They spend on average around 10 hours per week or more just filling out paperwork. So that takes time away from their ability to serve patients, and it leads to burnout.
The CFIB says that in a recently conducted survey, many Canadian physicians are thinking about cutting back their hours or leaving the medical profession entirely because of the burnout. So what are some solutions to this never-ending red tape?
We can use AI scribes, for example, to help decrease the burden of documenting clinical encounters within our clinic rooms across the country.
According to the report, other top recommendations include simplifying insurer processes, providing protected paid administrative leave, and delegating duties to other health professionals.
Our recommendation would be to set at a minimum a 10% reduction target, which we believe is more than feasible. What it comes down to is reviewing what's necessary, what's outdated, and if it doesn't require a medical degree to fill out that form, then it should be completed by somebody other than a doctor.
More than 3/4 of Canadian physicians that were surveyed by the CFIB said they would improve their work-life balance if these burdens were reduced, and nearly half said it would free up more time to spend with existing patients and also to take on new ones. The report also found eliminating unnecessary administrative tasks would potentially add the equivalent of 260 full-time physicians in Saskatchewan. Jacob Carr, CTV News, Regina.
Saskatchewan NDP is accusing the province of being slow in implementing enhanced security measures at Saskatchewan hospitals. The NDP say the 24-25 Ministry of Health annual report found that violent incidents had doubled over a 2-year period. The opposition says 23 criminal acts were committed against patients, yet the government failed to install emergency room metal detectors until this month. The government is planning a security review, but the NDP feels action is needed now.
There are already dozens of pages, reams of information, analysis, data to show us what we need to do. We don't need another review or report that is not coupled with action.
Saskatchewan Health Authority says metal detectors are proving effective right now at departments in Regina and Saskatoon, pointing to several knives being confiscated this month. Now, First Nation leaders are calling for sweeping changes for what they call a worsening trend of how Indigenous people are treated in Saskatchewan hospitals, and that's especially by security personnel. Keen Sorkon has more.
That's concerning.
The First Nations health ombudsperson says protective services in Saskatchewan are causing harm to First Nations people seeking care.
There's got to be change. We're not going to accept anything less.
Diane LaFond alleges protective services are leaving people in pain, beaten, and even dead in the case of Trevor Dubois, who died earlier this month after an altercation with security at Royal University Hospital. She says there have been complaints about protective services, and Dubois had a complaint which is being investigated about his care dating back to September.
His first complaint, he wants change from how he was treated. It should never have happened, and look, Trevor's not with us anymore.
LaFond is demanding an open and independent inquiry not involving the Ministry of Health. She wants her office to be part of it. Last week, the province announced plans for a third-party independent review into safety and security, including a review of security staff and their training. But LaFond wants the province to go further, calling for body cameras, for security footage to be stored longer than 30 days, and review how complaints are handled.
You can't police yourself. You cannot do that. There's got to be an external body. That's why our office was created.
The SHA says it will remain engaged with LaFawn's office as it works to build a safer, more culturally responsive health system.
It's not meant to tear down or to destroy the current system. It's meant to improve it.
Pratt says if the province doesn't respond favorably to its demands, the FSIN is ready to launch a class action lawsuit to effect necessary change. Keenan Sorakan, CTV News, Saskatoon.
Churchbridge area man is hoping a personal tragedy can lead to change. His wife was killed after a collision at a train crossing, which was the site of another fatality just 4 years earlier. Regina has more.
For Alyssa and Matthew Thompson, 2025 was supposed to be the start of a long, beautiful life together. They got married in November and bought a house in Churchbridge, sharing it with Alyssa's 8-year-old son and their many rescue cats.
She was a very selfless person. She was charismatic, full of life and energy, and she was just a beautiful soul inside and out.
The morning of December 29th was like any other. Matthew made her coffee and packed her lunch for work.
I started her car. I kissed her goodbye and told her I loved her, and then she went out the door.
Minutes later, Matthew received a call from a family member telling him about a collision at the rail crossing near the Thompsons' home.
So I pretty much instantly just threw on my shoes and ran down the street to the train there. There was a guy standing there. I asked what kind of vehicle it was. He said it was a red SUV. And I said, I think that's my wife.
Alyssa did not survive the collision, passing away just 35 days after her wedding. Matthew contacted the railway and the RCMP for details regarding the collision.
And they responded that they wouldn't be releasing that information to me.
This wasn't the only fatality at this crossing. About 4 years ago, a father was killed. His 2 children were injured at the same spot.
If you stop behind the stop line, you see the house, you see the tree line, and you just see black. Like I said, it's uphill, it's slippery, it's covered with ice most of the time.
In their response to CTV News, CPKC expressed their deepest sympathies to Alyssa's family, adding that Transport Canada has established the grade crossing regulations and standards. The sightlines at the Lowell Street crossing are compliant with those regulations. Matthew hopes that a set of crossing lights will be added in the near future.
What amount of money is worth all the lives that it's cost there already, you know, like if it could have been preventable by having that being a lighted crossing, to me, there's no price you could put on my wife's life.
Regina, CTV News, Churchbridge.
One person is dead after a fatal rollover of a snowmobile on Sunday. Around 5:30 in the morning, RCMP received a call of a rollover on Main Street in the village of Bullier. The driver, a 58-year-old man from Bullier, was declared dead on scene by EMS. RCMP continue to investigate. Okay, so Sabine joins us for our Weather Center for a first look at weather. And I know it's supposed to get warmer, but now we've got some cold warnings or watches.
Yeah, in parts of eastern Saskatchewan, southeast Saskatchewan in particular, Lee, we did see these warnings pop up late this afternoon. And yes, they are more cold warnings. I know a lot of us are sick of seeing these, but the good news is it's only expected to last until tomorrow morning. And again, it's as of right now staying in the southeast. There is a slight chance we're starting to see it in and around the Regina area. I mean, it should come as no surprise. We're kind of feeling these cold wind chill values as is. Now, the average daytime high is -10. We warmed up to -11, though it didn't feel like it because throughout most of the day, we have been feeling the wind chill sitting at or around the -30 degree mark. Taking a look at our current temperatures, we're not quite in that seasonal range. And again, you can see why we're feeling much colder temperatures because of that wind chill value. But as we get closer within the middle of this week and near the end of the week, we will start to see a lot of relief in the sense that those temperatures are moving into single digits. And I'll have all the details coming up in your full forecast. Lee?
Thank you, Sabine. The extreme cold weather in the province has prompted a call to action from those who are on the ground working with those most vulnerable, those living on the streets. Hallie Mandrick has more.
As temperatures across Saskatchewan have reached dangerous lows in recent weeks, those who help Saskatoon's unhoused population are asking for more support.
We saw one individual whose fingers were falling off. Absolutely. It's just horrifying. It's just horrifying. If I just took pictures of the hands of people alone who are living on the street, and you could see the number of missing digits and missing fingers, it would break your heart. It's just unacceptable.
CARD says the current supports available for Saskatoon's unhoused population aren't enough, adding that shelters are a temporary solution and the greater issue of housing in Saskatchewan needs more attention.
We're not making progress. We need to restore the things that April mentioned, like direct payment to landlords, and we need to have a compassionate and dignified treatment of our people on the streets.
According to the province, the Ministry of Social Services does have representatives working in shelters with the goal of connecting those in need with more long-term housing options.
What we find, though, is there's individuals, they require additional supports and may not be entirely ready for housing at that point. But that's something that we're constantly trying to do is where an individual we think will be successful with housing, we will definitely work with them to secure them housing.
Saskatoon's latest point-in-time count listed nearly 2,000 people experiencing homelessness, and a comprehensive evaluation from 2024 determined that more than 80% of those without shelter are Indigenous.
The poverty is overwhelmingly female and overwhelmingly Indigenous, and we can do much better if we put our minds to it and work together.
Saskatoon currently has 3 warming shelter locations which operate overnight, in addition to 9 facilities that are available during the day.
If we have shelters that are completely full, that individual is not going to be turned back out onto the street. We will find an appropriate place for them so they're kept safe during, especially when it's super cold like it has been.
Hallie Mandrick, CTV News, Saskatoon.
Prince Albert police are asking for help in identifying a person seen in the area the night the Salvation Army was destroyed by flames. They've released surveillance video captured between 7:30 and 8 p.m. December 25th in the Central Avenue area. The first video clip shows a person walking in an alley in a 900 block of Central Avenue close to the Salvation Army. The person can be seen taking off black pants, revealing gray pants underneath. Other video clips show different angles of the person walking in the area. Police say they're not sure if this person knows anything about the Christmas Day fire or if they are a potential witness. If you have any information on who this person is, you're asked to call Prince Albert Police or Crime Stoppers. Federal government is closing a number of agriculture research centres across Canada. 2 Saskatchewan facilities will be impacted. They are at Indian Head and Scott. The union representing workers says 38 people will be laid off in Indian Head and 6 in Scott. The closures are part of a government effort to reduce the size of the civil service. The union says loss of the centres will hurt farmers who benefit from research. Agriculture and Agri-Food Canada will maintain 17 research centres nationwide and research farmland in every province. A Saskatchewan filmmaker is using a vertical lens to showcase his movie, allowing people to watch from their phones. While watching, the film also lets viewers decide for themselves the plot of the movie, kind of like the old choose-your-own-adventure books back in the day. Sierra D'Souza Butts explains.
It's a movie on your phone where you get to choose the plot.
So then you get call your ex or call your sister.
Regina filmmaker Aaron Sinclair's short film, called Singleness, lets the audience decide the outcome of different scenes throughout the film using options on their mobile device.
The interactive aspect is on the ChooseWise app, and as you're watching the film, you get to choose what you think the character should do next, and you'll be presented with different options, and depending on what you choose will change kind of how the story plays out.
The production follows an international trend where filmmakers are starting to use vertical storytelling, also known as microdrama format, in their short films, allowing people to watch movies the way they naturally hold their phones.
There's a lot of projects that are shifting into this microdrama format. We see companies like Disney and Fox looking into the microdrama format as well.
Adding, the industry is shifting on how people consume content.
We're getting a little bit away from the more traditional type of storytelling into this new format, simply because folks are scrolling and we want to keep their attention span.
Although the app to watch the film is based in the U.S., Sinclair says he takes pride in shooting and casting the entire movie locally.
It's really great kind of working with Saskatchewan talent to make something like this. I think that we can offer this sort of like production value here that if you were doing the same production value in LA, it would just cost so much more. It'd be so much harder to do, but people are just excited to be a part of something cool here.
Already working on his next production, Sinclair says it's an exciting time to be a Saskatchewan filmmaker. Sierra D'Souza Butts, CTV News, Regina.
After the break, the Prime Minister announces an increase in the GST rebate to tackle the affordability crisis. And while we deal with extreme cold, Eastern Canada is getting extreme snow. Members of Canada's Parliament have returned to work after a 6-week holiday break. And today, Ottawa tackling food insecurity with an announcement from the Prime Minister to counter the high cost of groceries with a GST rebate for some 12 million Canadians. Michael Couture tells us who will benefit.
So we're acting today.
Choosing to be in a produce store instead of Parliament, Prime Minister Mark Carney announced new measures to tackle the affordability crisis. The Liberal government is renaming the GST credit the Canada Groceries and Essentials Benefit and raising it by 25% for 5 years. With an additional one-time payment this year, the average family of 4 will get nearly $2,000 in 2026 and $1,400 each of the following years. The measure is expected to help 12 million low-income Canadians.
On average, these payments make up for the higher level of food prices since the pandemic.
Carney also laid out a new national food security strategy to strengthen domestic food production and improve access to nutritious food. The Conservatives say the GST measures aren't new, but they'll support them.
The Prime Minister has revived a Trudeau-era rebate, which we'll let pass, that will barely cover a few trips to the grocery store.
The focus on pocketbook issues is a clear response to the #1 concern of Canadians, according to this pollster.
That's going to be the battleground for the next federal election, and it's going to be the key way that Canadians judge both Mark Carney and Pierre Poilievre.
With a campaign-style announcement today, it had some wondering if Canadians could be headed to the polls this spring.
Of course we're not. We're not. We're focused on results for Canadians.
The Conservatives say they'll back the GST boost as long as other spending isn't added on. The bill is expected to be tabled in the coming days. Michael Couture, CTV News, Ottawa.
Here in Saskatchewan, the provincial government is giving the thumbs up to today's announcement.
We know affordability, especially when you're trying to maybe feed your kids, and when you're trying to feed them healthy options as well. So every little bit like this helps, and we applaud the federal government for recognizing that need. And this is good news for those individuals who do receive a GST tax credit to be able to put that towards food or other essentials that they deem necessary.
A reminder that Carney did say it would be about 12 million Canadians that would benefit from this announcement. All right, parts of Ontario are digging out after a record snowstorm that dropped more than half a meter of snow. The system has now made its way to Quebec and the Maritimes, where many schools are closed and flights have been canceled or delayed. John Valley-Rao has the latest.
In downtown Toronto, this was the scene many drivers woke up to, warned to stay off the streets. A directive that wasn't hard to follow because just getting to a main road required a lot of shoveling.
For Toronto, it's shocking, to be honest.
In a city once ridiculed for calling in the army to help clear snow, this was, by any standard, a lot to cope with, smashing records that go back more than 80 years.
It was crazy. We haven't had storms like that in a long time.
In some parts of downtown Toronto, 56 centimeters fell, with the city by far getting the worst of the snow, fueled by its proximity to Lake Ontario and the wind direction.
I don't think I've ever recalled a storm where the heaviest amount of snow was in Toronto when a storm hit the entire province, like from Windsor to Ottawa.
A storm that closed schools with kids getting a snow day and residents asked to stay home if they could. In Kitchener, so much snow was piled up on the side of an overpass, it acted like a ramp, which a pair of cars hit and launched over, one of them flipping and landing on the ground below, killing the driver. At Pearson Airport, where they also got walloped by record snow, airlines were in recovery mode after hundreds of flights were canceled on Sunday, and there were plenty more delays today.
I understand it's the weather, and safety comes first.
a storm that moved into Quebec and onto the Maritimes, where as much as 40 centimeters of snow is expected to fall in Nova Scotia by Tuesday. And in many parts of the Maritimes, schools were also closed. At Halifax's airport, dozens of flights were canceled. As for Toronto, this is now the snowiest January on record, triple the average amount, and there's still 5 days left in the month. John Benavelli-Rouse, CTV News, Toronto.
Federal Fisheries Minister Joanne Thompson has provided conditional approval for the export of Marineland's 30 beluga whales to the U.S. In a statement posted on social media, Thompson said she met with Marineland today and will issue final permits once the theme park provides further information. The move comes after Marineland presented what it called an urgent rescue solution to the federal government last week to keep the whales alive. And a former Canadian Olympic snowboarder accused in a drug smuggling ring made his first court appearance in the U.S. today. Ryan Wedding pleaded not guilty in front of a judge in Santa Ana, California. He turned himself in at the U.S. Embassy in Mexico City last week after a lengthy effort by authorities to arrest him. The former FBI fugitive is accused of running a billion-dollar multinational drug trafficking ring and orchestrating multiple killings. He was indicted in 2024. In Canada, Wedding faces separate drug charges that date back to 2015.
Coming up, performing another group's greatest hits inside the making of a cover band.
The best basketball players are hitting the hard court in Regina. Tuesday on Your Morning, we are sending our athlete-in-residence Janelle Lipai out to tee up the Rochdale Invitational.
Welcome back to your forecast. We're trying to get the others in the control room to do the count, but no one was budging. All right, let's get into your forecast. Tonight, we will see some cooler wind chills. We already have those wind chill, cold warnings issued for parts of eastern Saskatchewan, including the Parkland. And actually, it does look like it is stretching into parts surrounding Regina. Currently, Regina is not under that cold warning. However, we could see in the overnight, early morning hours that the wind chill values could reach exactly what that warning is stating. So currently we're sitting at -18, a wind chill of -29. Winds are at 30, gusting to 40. We did see high wind gusts today, up to 60 throughout parts of today, in particular first thing this morning and then later this afternoon. Now, again, with the wind chill, I want to keep saying wind chill warnings. So the cold warnings are in effect right now. We could, like I said, as of right now, it does look like we could see the wind chill values getting into the -38, -39 mark first thing tomorrow morning. So wouldn't be surprised if we see some of those warnings pop up later on tonight. However, they're only expected to last until tomorrow morning, early afternoon. So once we see that clear, there is relief on the way, and it's actually later this week. We'll start to see those temperatures warm up above the average. But in terms of active weather, there's not much to show you as of for the next couple of days. I'll actually get out of the way here. We do have cloud cover rolling in, and a slight chance we could start to see some of that precipitation making its way into southwest Saskatchewan later on in Wednesday. So tomorrow, just expect a mix of sun and cloud for parts of Saskatchewan. Mainly sunny conditions for eastern Saskatchewan. And then as we head into Tuesday night, we'll see more of that cloud cover rolling in because there is a system coming in from Alberta that we'll start to see bringing some of that precipitation as we get into Wednesday. So you can actually see just little pockets of precipitation already in southeast Alberta. And as we head into Wednesday night, that's where we'll see mixed precipitation. Again, not a big system, not a lot when it comes to accumulation, so snowfall totals, but it does look like a system that will be bringing mixed rain, freezing rain and snow throughout that area. And that is because we will start to see those warmer temperatures returning into Saskatchewan as we head into Thursday and Friday, and especially into the weekend. Slight chance we see some more scattered flurries heading into first thing Thursday morning. And then we'll just continue to see mostly a mix of sun and cloud conditions. So again, tonight we're still going to see those temperatures for many parts of Saskatchewan colder than what the average normally is. Average low usually around -20 to about -23, 24. So very cold up in the Losh at -31. And again, in the northwest, we are seeing some of those cold warnings in effect for tonight as well. But as we continue to take a look at what's to come for tomorrow, we're inching closer back into seasonal range. So minus 14 for North Battleford. Average again, about minus 10, minus 13 is what our average daytime high is. Saskatoon and Yorkton expecting to get to minus 19. Much warmer in the southwest. Maple Creek tomorrow minus 3, minus 7 for Swift Current. Moose Jaw minus 13 in the southeast. Similar temperatures. Assiniboia right into that seasonal range of minus 10, minus 14 for Weyburn. Estevan for Regina tonight. Minus 28. Again, expecting those wind chills in the mid minus 30s. And then again, first thing tomorrow morning, expect those wind chill values about minus 38, minus 39. Winds at 45. Tomorrow, minus 17 is the expected daytime high with winds at 20. And here's a look at a lovely 7-day forecast, if I do say so myself. So yeah, the week is going to start out pretty cold. Minus 17 tomorrow, mix of sun and cloud. By Wednesday, we're looking at mainly sunny conditions. Winds at 10 and the expected daytime high, minus 15. So we're getting closer into seasonal range and even closer by the time we get to Thursday. Mix of sun and cloud, minus 13, minus 20 is the low. And then we start to see those temperatures start warming up above seasonal. So this is the end of January. We do have some strong wind gusts expected for the weekend, but as we head into next week and next month, expecting those temperatures to start climbing above zero. But for sure, the beginning of February, beginning of next week, we'll see those temperatures in the single digits around the minus 2 values. So warmer temperatures ahead. We just got to fight through these next couple of days, Lee.
Get through tonight and slight bad temperatures tomorrow. All right.
Yeah.
Thanks, me.
You bet.
Well, there are plenty of cover bands out there and tribute individuals or artists like Regina's own Rory Allen for one. But what does it take to play the music of Canadian icons? Damien Smith spoke to a group touring the prairies who say this is not their first Blue Rodeo.
A band of 5. This is 5 days in May. A tribute group honoring the Canadian band Blue Rodeo. After playing a few songs in late 2025, they quickly got lost together as a cover band.
Very popular band, and we've become very popular in the area, so we thought, let's give them a little something more that they want to hear.
The group has toured around the prairies for about a decade, performing around 40 times a year. It's just 5 Canadian musicians living out their dream.
Right from 12 years old, I think I had my first drum set. The first video I saw of Bryan Adams, I'm like, that's what I want to do, and Canadian.
Big Knife, who releases music solo, doesn't take a day for granted when jamming with harmonicas, guitars, pianos, and drums.
And you become, brothers in music. Well, that's very powerful. When we're all on our game and we're having a great night, nothing needs to be said, you just kind of feel it.
The newest member, Don Henderson, was discovered by Big Knife about 7 years ago.
Yeah, getting here was probably the best thing that's ever happened to me. The music here is fantastic. Blue Rodeo is unbelievable.
Playing the role of backup singer Greg Keeler, Henderson was recruited by Big Knife not only because of his voice, but his guitar talent.
I've been playing guitar since a kid, and it's funny when you put on a guitar, like when I put on a guitar anyways, everything just seems to just chill.
Though the Blue Rodeo tour is fresh, the group will continue to push their love for Canadian music in the prairies.
Last year we played the main stage in 2022, and you can actually hear the crowd singing back to you, as a drummer. So I'm only a few feet back, but it just feels really nice to be part of it.
Damien Smith, CTV News, Regina.
Still ahead, we catch up with a few Saskatchewan athletes heading to Italy to represent Canada at the Olympics.
A good weekend for Regina's Mark McMorris, winning his 12th ever gold medal at the Winter X Games before he heads to Italy. Now, McMorris will be joined by several other Saskatchewan athletes looking to bring an Olympic medal back home to Canada. Donovan May spoke to a few of them with the big event getting underway next week.
Good job, Ben. Regina's Ben Hebert is relishing in the opportunity to play a third Olympic Games.
All of us probably dreamt of going to the Olympics maybe once or going to a couple Briars, and to be going 3 times, a little bit surreal.
Hebert is one of 7 athletes from Saskatchewan set to wear the maple leaf in Italy, including Mark McMorris, who will make his 4th Olympic appearance in 2026, fresh off an X Games gold medal on the weekend. Regina's Logan Pletz will make his Olympic debut in biathlon, while hockey players Emily Clark represent the province on the women's team, with Darcy Kemper and Brandon Hagel on the men's side. On the hill, Saskatoon's Maya Schwinghammer is ready to make her Olympic debut in moguls.
And then that massive bottom air.
Schwinghammer's earliest memories on skis are being pulled behind a snowmobile in northern Saskatchewan and hitting the slopes of Blackstrap where her parents ran the hill. But her Olympic dream began in 2010.
Jennifer Heil was always a huge inspiration to me, and I remember watching her get the silver medal and just knowing that I had to go become an Olympian one day.
Athletes say they are feeling the support from across the province.
Pretty crazy to be heading to the games as an athlete from Saskatchewan, and just to really feel the community back home.
I still get messages today from my high school football coaches, my coaches that coached me at North Regina Little League in Regina. Still keep in touch, and there's so many great athletes that come from that province that they do put a lot of time into it.
Events begin for the games on February 4th ahead of the opening ceremonies on the 6th and run until February 22nd. Donovan May, CTV News, Regina.
Saskatchewan Roughriders have extended offensive guard Jacob Bramer to a 1-year contract. Joining the Riders in 2024, Bramer had a breakout season last year, named an All-CFL player, and was part of an O-line that allowed no quarterback sacks in the playoffs. With the extension, the Riders now have 4 of their starting 5 offensive linemen from that Grey Cup game under contract for next season. Trevor Tate is the lone exception.
They'll fake it to him, and McLeod keeps it himself. Great decision as he will go untouched into the end zone.
Riders also signing another quarterback, Jordan McLeod. In 2024, he threw for 3,200 yards, 30 touchdowns, and 13 games with Texas State. He also added 7 rushing touchdowns. The year before, he played at James Madison University, throwing for 35 touchdowns and added 8 more on the ground. At the Scotties Tournament of Hearts in Mississauga, Jolene Campbell and Team Saskatchewan were looking to improve their record to 2-1 versus the Northwest Territories.
Gamble here in 9, a draw for 2. And yeah, that's really nice. Draw weight.
Campbell would score 2 in 9, but still trailed the Territories 5-4. In 10, Saskatchewan line 2. Territory skip Nikki Kaufman trying to draw the button for the win or get a piece of the forefoot to maybe just give up 1, but instead, her shot's heavy from the start, and it will slide right by. A steal of 2 and a big 6-5 come from behind victory for Saskatchewan. They sit 3rd in Pool A at 2-1, and tonight they play Quebec.
Still ahead, why some Saskatchewan craft brewers are feeling good about the future.
At your rural forecast heading into tomorrow, yes, we do have some areas, including areas just around the Hudson Bay, that we could see some cold warnings continue tonight into tomorrow morning. But after that, we will start to see them lift, most likely by early afternoon. But these are the expected daytime highs for tomorrow. Western Saskatchewan still expecting to see more cloud cover, like Meadow Lake, -16, and cloudy, -13 for Lloydminster, and Outlook, cloudy conditions there, -14 for Spiritwood. And then if we take a look over in Hudson Bay, -18. Mainly sunny. Wynyard and Watrous -19, mix of sun and cloud, and Kindersley mostly cloudy, -11. Closer to the southern border, we see temperatures a little warmer, especially in the southwest. -3 for Maple Creek, -9 for Leader, and -8 for East End Cypress and for Coronach. Back into seasonal, well, colder than seasonal for Kenora, -20, mainly sunny, -18 for Broadview, and Carlisle, -17, along with Lumsden and Pilot Butte, -17. But if we take a closer look at Raymore, located 110 kilometers north of Regina, is currently under that cold warning right now. So tomorrow, the daytime high -22 with mainly sunny conditions with a wind chill of -28. Into the evening, dropping to -26 with a wind chill of -33.
The incident happened on December 11, 2025, between 3 a.m. and 3:30 a.m. on a 1600 block of 8th Avenue. Two men attempted to break into a sea can. They were not able to enter, but they did damage the lock. The first suspect is described as a man wearing white shoes, blue or gray pants, a camouflage jacket, black hoodie underneath the jacket, gray gloves, and a black neck warmer used to cover his face. He had on a purple Toronto Raptors hat with a red brim. The second suspect is described as a man. He was wearing black shoes, black pants, a Carhartt sweater, a puffy black vest, a neck warmer covering his face with gray gloves, and a black New York Yankees hat. He had a black backpack on with a box sticking out of it. If you know who these two are, contact Crime Stoppers.
I'm Belton Johnson, board member for Regina Crime Stoppers. Did you know Crime Stoppers would pay up to $2,000 cash rewards for information on this or any other serious crime in Regina? Callers do not have to identify themselves. Calls are not traced or recorded. In Regina, Saskatchewan, and Canada, call Crime Stoppers at 1-800-222-TIPS. That's 1-800-222-8477. You can also access our website at www.reginacrimestoppers.ca. Remember, our community suffers when you remain silent. Please report crime.
Crime Stoppers is brought to you by Leak Audiology, helping you live well with better hearing.
Inflation, U.S. aluminum tariffs, and slowing sales are squeezing Canada's craft brewers, and for some, the pressure is proving to be too much. But as CTV's Alison Bamford explains, some breweries in the prairies are seeing a bit of a positive shift.
Taps are flowing at Regina's Rebellion Brewing, despite turbulent times over the last 5 years.
We've worked really hard, really diligently to get our business in order, to get our sales in order.
The pandemic, inflation, and changing consumer behavior set back Canada's craft beer industry. A report from Restaurants Canada shows 41% of Canadians reduced their alcohol consumption over the last year, citing health concerns, lifestyle changes, and money as the main drivers.
Consumers are going out less frequently, so you're seeing less beer sales in restaurants and bars and things like that, and craft breweries as well.
Canadian beer sales dropped 20% from 2019 to 2025.
It used to be you could just open your doors and sell a bunch of beer. That's just not the case anymore.
For the last 2 years, more Canadian breweries have closed than opened, a trend not seen in 15 years, according to beer educator Jason Foster. His stats show the total number of breweries dropped 2.9% in 2025, a gradual reduction he expects will continue for the next couple years.
The breweries that'll be left at the end of it, I think, will be stronger and the better for it.
Brewers say fluctuation is normal in any industry, and the taps aren't drying up. The latest numbers show craft beer sales are up year over year in Saskatchewan and Alberta. At Rebellion, sales have jumped for the last 6 months, and the Regina-based brewery is opening a new tap room in Saskatoon.
We're feeling really confident going into 2026.
And that's something he'll drink to. Alison Bamford, CTV News, Saskatoon.
Saskatchewan Aviation Museum held Open Cockpit Day on Saturday. The event was an opportunity for visitors to step into some vintage airplanes and learn a bit more about aviation. Many of the aircrafts on display are fully functional, and in the warmer months, visitors can see how they look in flight. The executive director of the museum shared that events like this often inspire the next generation of pilots.
So young people, they get exposure to airplanes. Some of them become very interested in flying. Some people come in and there could be young adults, old adults, kids of all ages, really, right? So people just enjoy being around airplanes.
Saskatchewan Aviation Museum has a number of events throughout the year intended to showcase its collection. Canola Farm Market Board street price for canola down $4.40 to $590.72 per ton, while the futures price is up $2.10 to $647.10 per ton. Amber Durum wheat stays the same, $274.92 per ton, while red spring wheat is down $1.57 to $255.75 per ton. Feed barley $213.59 per ton, and flax, it had some movement earlier, is staying the same today, $575.54 per ton. Those prices courtesy of Bunge. As for your stock markets, the TSX down 51 points, while the Dow Jones had a increase by 313 points. The Canadian dollar, it went up 0.08 of a cent to 72.93 cents US. On the commodity front, gold up $21.21. It's now over that 5,000 mark. West Texas Intermediate crude down 44 cents, while Western Canadian Select crude, a decent jump, up $1.59. So right now, gas in Regina, could see it go up, but right now it stayed the same to $1.23.9 per liter.
A new program called Blue Rewards will launch in the summer. If you have an Air Miles card, hang on to it. You can still use it, but the miles you collect will automatically convert to Blue points. Blue Rewards will use the Expedia platform for bookings. Today, Shell Canada announced it's ending its partnership with Air Miles and moving to Scene, which is owned by Scotiabank. Allied Gold is being bought by a Chinese firm in a deal valued at $5.5 billion. Zijin Gold is paying $44 cash per share for the gold miner. Allied has 3 assets, one in Cote d'Ivoire, one in Mali, and one in Ethiopia. The deal will require Ottawa's approval. Spot gold hit another record today, climbing above $5,000 an ounce. Investors have been rushing to pick it up with new tariff threats targeting Canada. The top movers on the TSX today were all precious metals. Those are your business headlines. I'm Marilla Fernandez.
Coming up tonight after the newscast, we've got Extracted. Remember that?
No. What was that again?
Extracted? Extracted is a show where you try to figure out if Ray Moore's in South Central Saskatchewan or Central Saskatchewan.
This is a
little argument we've been having in the newsroom.
big debate. Yes.
And many other shows. No Big Bang, by the way.
No Big Bang.
Yeah. Sask Polytech has revealed the mystery ingredients for its Prairie Fire Culinary Challenge that's happening.
Yeah, so this afternoon, the mystery ingredient box was opened at the Prince Albert campus and revealed ingredients to be used in the competition, including kale and pork tenderloin.
Ooh.
The competition is for Sask Polytech culinary students and recent alumni from the Prince Albert, Saskatoon, and Regina campuses. Competitors will be evaluated based on the taste of the dish, along with kitchen skills like sanitation and presentation.
It helps them learn about themselves, to see where they're at with their culinary skills. They can look around the room at the end of the competition and see, you know, how other people did, what their plates look like. So really it should be a good way for them to gain knowledge.
Okay, well, that sounds actually kind of fun. The challenge is February 9th at Prairieland Park in Saskatoon. The top 8 competitors will advance to the next round of competition in April. We should find out how to be judges.
I know I can't be a competitor, that's for
No, absolutely
The
not.
first thing that'd come out, I'm out.
Okay, well, Nintendo is out with a new trailer for its next Super Mario Brothers movie. I'm excited. And it includes the introduction of a character fans will recognize.
Who is this? Yoshi.
Come on. Now, I always wondered why Yoshi wasn't in the first one when I saw that, but Mario's iconic dinosaur friend Yoshi joins the gang in a trailer for Super Mario Galaxy. The first Super Mario movie debuted in 2023, claimed the title the highest-grossing film adaptation of a video game.
Really?
The sequel hits theaters April 1st with Chris Pratt, Charlie Day, Anya Taylor-Joy, Jack Black. They're amongst the original cast that will be returning for this one. There's a new princess that's kind of a badass.
Really?
Yeah, so there's tons going on there. Yeah, so.
I didn't know that.
At least that's what the trailers are showing up.
Ah. For all of your video game movie info, Lee Jones.